Wow, what's up? This looks so much sharper than recording with XSplit. I don't know why XSplit makes everything look digitized. Maybe because it's recording. I don't know. I feel like this just looks better, even if I have to do the transferring. But what's up, guys? I wanted to share some of my symptoms with MS with you guys, so maybe you could understand what I'm going through and relate to it a little bit better. I could have sworn I already recorded all this, but I don't know what I did with the footage. I don't know if I deleted it or what. Like, look how sharp this is compared to when I use XSplit. Anyways, my sound might not be as good because I'm not using the Shure SM7B. I'm just using my GoPro, not GoPro, what is it? My Rode Pro Plus or whatever, I forget. Anyways, so one of the main symptoms I have, and it varies from day to day, but one of the main symptoms I have to deal with MS is, I think they call it Lermite sign, which is where it's like a phenomenon where as I look down, I start feeling this like electric shock going through my back, and it starts like right here on my back and then runs all the way down, all the way to my legs. And the further I look down, the more intense the electric shock sensation is throughout my body. And it gets more and more like, it's like when you stimulate a muscle with electricity, it requires so much before the muscle starts moving and doing things. And right about here, my muscles start to spasm because the electricity going through my body is too strong and starts causing muscles to like spasm out, which is like super bizarre. It's not a big deal. I just don't look down, you know? But some of my other symptoms include like my inability to walk, and that's because as my physical therapist explains it, my proprioception or my proprioceptors are not working correctly. So what that means is I can't tell where my legs are in relationship to everything around me in 3D space. So when I'm walking, I try to pick up my right leg before my left leg is like fully on the ground, because I can't tell when my feet are touching the ground because I have no sensation in my legs. And that varies from day to day. Some days it's really bad and my legs feel like I have like sand weights like wrapped around them, if that makes sense. Especially my right leg. My right leg is really bad about that. There are instances where like I have a very difficult time walking because my leg is so heavy, which is like, it's hard to describe that to somebody. Imagine like a child, you know, wrapped around your leg and trying to walk. That's what it feels like, except for it's more like a resistance. Like, man, it's so hard to describe. It's like being in a ball pit, like filled with sand, you know? It's heavy. And there's like no sensation, so I can't tell if I'm stepping on something. Like there's one instance where I stepped on one of the animals. I stepped on the cat, but it was like messing with me. Like I couldn't lift my foot off the cat because my mind was telling me that my foot wasn't on the ground yet, so that I couldn't move until it was on the ground. Bizarre stuff, man. Otherworldly, alien is the only way to describe it. You know, like my physical therapist says my gait is messed up, which is like how far your legs are apart and how you walk. Mine are real messed up, and that's because I can't tell when one leg is on the ground and the other's in the air. So I'll occasionally try to lift my right leg while my left leg is still in motion before it touches the ground. This made me a significant fall risk while I was in the emergency room. I wasn't allowed to get off the bed or anything. I wasn't allowed to move. I had to wear all yellow to let the staff know that I can't walk by myself, that they need 2 people to assist me, because when I was in the emergency room, I couldn't get up by myself. I couldn't lift my legs. I couldn't move my legs over they'd have to transfer me beds for like MRIs and like contrast imaging. The lumbar puncture. It was pretty funny at the lumbar puncture. When I arrived, they brought me in my hospital bed, but I had to move onto the MRI table. Well, it's kind of like an MRI table, except for the table moves and there's a giant freaking needle, and they X-ray, you know, the 3 orientations of your body, and they locate your spine, and then the table and the needle, because the needle can only go up and down, right, for the lumbar puncture. So the entire table moves, but I couldn't get on the table. And I was trying, and I was like trying to force my legs because I got my body over, because my upper body, there's not really much wrong with my upper body. Like my left arm's perfectly normal, my right hand is numb, my right like forearm feels like I put it down on like somebody spilled honey, and I put my arm down in it, and it's just there permanently, just covered in honey is exactly how my arm feels. But it's kind of normal. I moved across to the lumbar puncture table, and he's like, all right, I need you to move your legs. And I could not move my legs. Super simple task, move your legs from here to here. You know, from the table, or from the bed, sorry, I keep saying from the bed to the table. I can't move it, and I'm trying to force them, and then all of a sudden, boop, they move, and I'm like, I got all excited, right? I'm like, I did it, boys, I moved my legs. And everybody starts cracking up laughing. And I'm like, what's so funny? Like, shouldn't y'all be like excited for me? I moved my legs. And the guy in charge of doing the MRI, or the lumbar puncture, starts laughing, and he's like, I moved him for you. So I was like, oh, you know what? It makes a lot more sense now that I think about it. I moved him for you. You know what? It makes a lot more sense now that I think about it.